I'm really happy to be here. And I'm just going to begin with a little chant from an unlikely source. It is Torah, but it's one of those books most people never look at. The book of Haggai. It's very short, but there's a verse that happens twice in the first chapter in verse 5 and verse 7 are the same. And it's Simu levavchem al dirachechem, which I'm going to translate as literally place your heart, but that's the way we say pay attention. Communally, Simu levavchem in the plural, al dirachechem, on your ways, which I feel is just exactly the energy of Elul that we're in and the energy of practice. שימו לבבכם על דרכיכם. שימו לבבכם על דרכיכם. שימו, 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 שימו לבבכם. שימו, שימו, שימו לבבכם על דרכיכם. לבבכם על דרכיכם. As we place our hearts, as we pay attention to the truth of our ways, not what we think of ourselves, but what we actually do, where we put ourselves in the way of transformation. We allow for the possibility of transformation. Because the first step in transformation is just to see what is true and just to know it. We don't have to like it or love it, but like James Baldwin taught us, not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. And here we are in Parshat Ki Tavo during this month of Elul. And in Parshat Ki Tavo, we're given this really powerful and dramatic image of the people Israel in the desert preparing to go in to the land. And they're apportioned into two groups, both who were standing at the top of mountains. And one is the mountain of blessing, and one is the mountain of curse. And then a series of really chilling curses is read, terrifying curses, including women eating their children, Israelites falling sick without possible healing, epidemics, exile. Many of us already are living in a chronic state of terror and anxiety these days. And perhaps the worst of the curses, the one that I find chilling in a special way, comes close to the end. V'hayu chayecha tluim lecha mineged, ufachadeta laila v'yomam, v'lo ta'amin b'chayecha. And the Jewish Publication Society translates this verse as, the life you face shall be precarious. You shall be in terror night and day with no assurance of survival. But the literal translation is more evocative. So this is my attempted literal translation. And your life to you will be hanging, tluyim. And you will be afraid night and day. Velo ta'amin b'chayecha, and you won't believe in your life. You won't believe in your life. The Parsha seems to say that to deny that our lives have meaning or substance, to not believe in the power or the truth of our own lives, is a horrific curse. And I'm haunted by this idea. Velo ta'amin b'chayecha, you will not believe. Lo ta'amin, in your own life. What might believe here mean? The root of the word emunah, the verb we have here, is actually amen. The same amen we say to the curses, the same amen which gets said in this dramatic ritual on the mountains by every Israelite after the curses are said. Whatever comes, we say amen, which some might translate as I believe. But belief in Judaism is really not what we mean by emunah, not a sense of cognitive affirmation, but rather spiritual faith. And I would suggest even practice. I'm going to say a little bit more about that. When we look at the root of emunah, this root amen, lahit amen, to do amen for yourself is the same word in modern Hebrew for working out, for showing up every day to a practice, lahit amen. And le amen is to adopt a child, or to adopt something that you make a commitment to. Again, not a one-time thing, but a daily kind of showing up, commitment to a relationship. I think this is a perfect way to imagine practice. Not doing it perfectly, but showing up, working out, adopting, coming every day to do something simple, real, and observable. When we breathe, just asking, what is this breath? What is true? I'm going to suggest that amen, even to curses and blessings, both might be a framework for how we understand our practice. So I'm going to invite you to experiment with this amen, to experiment with what it might feel like in practice. So I invite you to get into the posture for your practice that you think will be most comfortable and stabilizing for you. It might be sitting in a chair or on a cushion or laying down or standing up. And I'm just going to invite you in whatever posture you've chosen, whether your eyes are closed or whether your eyes are open with a soft focus. I'm going to invite you just to notice what's true in your body, in your chayecha, in your life. We're taking the concept of looking at our life and breaking it down to what is simple, real, and observable in this moment. Can you feel your body? Perhaps where one part of your body meets another, like hands on your legs, feet on the ground, tush on a seat. What is real and true and observable about your life in this moment? Notice the breath. If it's uncomfortable for you to keep your focus on the breath, I invite you to continue just noticing the sensations of the body. But if it feels like a good thing to you, I invite you just to notice your inhale and your exhale without efforting, just noticing the breath. We were breathing before we noticed it. Now we're just placing our attention, placing our hearts on the breath. Notice if it's true that you're breathing. Notice if it's true that you're alive. I am alive. I am breathing. I am here. I can feel my body. I am real. This is my life. My life is real. In this moment, this is. Sot, this, and this, and this. Amen. Just this. Amen. Maybe in your body, you feel a stretch of a muscle or some tightness, or for some of us, even pain. Just this. Amen. Maybe the breath feels like a gift, a blessing. Maybe the inhale feels refreshing. Maybe the out breath allows for release. Amen. Difficult, lovely. Amen. Neutral. Amen. Whatever comes, noticing, affirming it's true. Amen. Ah, in breath. Main. Out breath. Ah, main. We'll continue practicing, noticing what is true and affirming it. Amen. And if thoughts of the past, rumination, stories, or the future, planning, arise as they do, we'll notice them. Amen. And allow our attention to return to the moment. ze, zot, just this. Amen. Simu, 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 simu levavchem. Simu, simu, simu levavchem adevachechem. Practice allows us to believe in our lives, to say amen to our lives while we are still in the land of the living, as Psalm 27 reminds us. It's not too late. We may be creaking or rusty or in places even broken, but we are all alive, and we can believe in the truth of our lives. Amen. I'd like to close with a poem by Yehuda Amichai, The Jewish Time Bomb, translated by Chana Bloch and Chana Kronfeld. On my desk is a stone with Amen carved on it, one survivor fragment of the thousands upon thousands of bits of broken tombstones in Jewish graveyards. I know all these broken pieces now fill the great Jewish time bomb, along with the other fragments and shrapnel, broken tablets of the law, broken altars, broken crosses, rusty crucifixion nails, broken houseware and holyware, and broken bones, eyeglasses, shoes, prostheses, false teeth, empty cans of lethal poison. All these broken pieces fill the Jewish time bomb until the end of days. And though I know about all this and about the end of days, the stone on my desk gives me peace. It is the touchstone no one touches, more philosophical than any philosopher's stone, broken stone from a broken tomb, more whole than any wholeness, a stone of witness to what has always been and what will always be, a stone of Amen and love. Amen, Amen, and may it come to pass.
Thank you so much, Dorothy. Friends, we seal that beautiful practice as we do each day with an opportunity for those of you who are in mourning or observing a yard site, or if it's your custom to join in the mourner's Kaddish, to do so. If you're not reciting Kaddish, just to stay present, to be able to say Amen for those who are. Thanks to Rachel for sharing the words on the screen. You can put the name or names of each person you're calling to mind and holding in your heart today in the chat, either now or after we recite Kaddish. And if you're joining me, please do so by rising in body or in spirit, and you can unmute at this time. Yit Gadol, Yit Kadosh, Rabbi,
Amen.
B'Mela Divrach Yirutei, V'Yamlich B'Chutei, V'Chayechon, Yomechon, V'Chayei T'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'agala V'Zman Karid, V'Yimru, Amen.
Amen.
Yehesh me Rabba Mevarach Ame Amaya.
Amaya,
Yitbarach
Baruch
Yishtabach
Yishtabach
V'Yitpa'ar
Yitpa'ar
V'Yitramam
Yitramam
V'Yitnaseh
Nase
V'Yithadar
Hadar
V'Yitale
Yitale
V'Yitala
Yitala
V'Yitkutsha
Kudisha Brichu
La'ela
Mila
Mikol
Mikal
Birchata
Birchata
V'Shirta
Vishirta
Tushbechata
Tushbachata
V'Nechemata
V'Nechemata
Ta'amiran
Miram
B'Ma
Bima
Imru
Imru
Amen.
Amin
V'Hesh
Yesh
Lamamar
Lamamar
Aya
B'Shamaya
Chaim
Hayim
Aleinu V'Kol
Aleinu V'Kol
Yisrael
Israel
Imru Amen.
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 Seh
Seh
Shalom
Shalom
V'Avraham
Imravav
Uyaseh
Uyaseh
Shalom
Shalom Aleinu
Aleinu V'Kol
Kol
Yisrael
Israel
V'Kol Yoshvei
Kol
Tzidkenu
Yekipel
Imru
Ru
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, everyone. Rabbi Dorothy is going to sound the shofar for us. Dorothy, that was beautiful. Friends, you're welcome to stay on and join us for conversation for the next little bit, or just continue to sit with that beautiful, beautiful practice that Dorothy invited us into. And if you're leaving us now, I hope you'll join us tomorrow. We'll be led tomorrow by Dr. John Silber, who'll be again offering a practice based on attuning to the shofar. And on Wednesday, which is the full moon of Elul, Sarah Waxman of At the Well will be leading us in practice. On Thursday, Rabbi Susan Leiter will lead us, and on Friday we'll sit into Shabbat together with Zach Newman. So very much looking forward to this beautiful week of practice. If you have a question you'd like to ask Rabbi Dorothy, please put it in the chat. And of course, thanks to Rachel Hugot for holding our tech space today. What a gift for us to be together. Dorothy, wow. Wow. First of all, I thought I knew all the major Amichai poems, but somehow I don't know that one. And uh nothing really to say, just wow, Amen. Um I'd love to take a moment to just to review, and if you're willing to again read the verses from this week's Parsha Kitavo that you read the JPS translation and then offered your literal translation. Could we start with that again? Is that okay? Do you
Absolutely.
have that
And
handy? And
yeah,
then
and I might, if it, with your permission, just for time, I took it out, but there's also this verse in Psalm 27 that is
Mhm,
on the source sheet that I'll also share
mhm,
with the same verb. So the verse is Deuteronomy 28:66.
mhm,
V'hayu chayecha tluim lecha mineged, ufachadeta laila v'yomam v'lo ta'amin b'chayecha. The life you face shall be precarious. You shall be in terror night and day, with no assurance of survival, or literally, and you will not believe in your life. Lo ta'amin b'chayecha. And then the
mhm,
Psalm for
mhm,
Elul, Psalm 27, verse 13, right almost at the end is Lule he'emanti, lirot betuv Adonai be'eretz chayim. Had I not the assurance, which you can tell is such a weird translation, and that's there. It's literally, if I were not to believe, or if I were not to amen,
mhm,
that I would enjoy the goodness of the one in the land of the living. And famously, right, this verse is known to not really finish, right? It just finishes with the end of the psalm, Kavel
Mm-hmm.
Hashem, Chazak v'ametz libecha,
Mm-hmm.
v'kaveh Hashem, put your hope in God, strengthen, your heart and put your faith in God. So I'm really, this week just in between those two verses.
Fantastic. Fantastic. So what I get is that the antidote to that kind of ultimate despair, that what keeps us from falling into the pit of despair is the ability just to really put it in simplest terms, witness aliveness, to bear witness to aliveness. He used the word witness a couple of times. Um, like, have faith in life. I think it also like lowers the bar for us. It's like, right? Because faith in life just has kind of the sense of, I think for me, I know like this optimistic, which is good too, but sometimes that could feel like a high bar at times, especially now. And we can learn that just this, as you said, just this breath, just this moment, I'm alive, I'm witnessing that. Um, so I guess there isn't a question at the end of this. I'm just appreciating it. Um, I guess the other, we're not quite there yet, but coming up pretty soon in Deuteronomy is, Moses's famous injunction, "Uvacharta b'chaim," choose life, which is a kind of variation, like, through the lens of your teaching today. It's another variation than that, we've always got blessing and curse in front of us. Same as in this parsha, too, a mountain of curse, a mountain of blessing. Incline towards the blessing, incline towards life, even if it's just this one breath, even if it's just this one moment. It's accessible. I guess here's the question, I guess. It's accessible, you know. We can do that. When everything else feels like it's just too much, we can do that in this one breath.
I
Um,
think that's what we're always trying to do,
mhm,
And again, I think in some ways we are struggling against an unseen obstacle, which I'm just trying to remove. And the unseen obstacle is that the idea of emunah, of
mhm,
what faith and belief means,
mhm,
is faith and belief in a certain story, a certain set of preconditions, something that's not who we actually just are
mhm,
or what just is. And I think, because our language is Christian language here in the United States, at least, where
mhm,
our larger culture, the idea of emunah is like we acquire it with all of this baggage of belief,
mhm,
right? Right? This or that, right? Or I'm not a believer. And if we look at the Jewish understanding of Amen here,
mhm,
Peace.
I think it's really different and really exactly what you're saying, as simple as affirming, witnessing. You don't have to love it. You don't even have to like it,
mhm,
but noticing the truth of it and affirming that it's true.
mhm,
I mean, that's what I think happens when, God forbid, we hear about or experience a death. Baruch Dayan ha'emet.
mhm,
Blessed is the true judge. I don't think what we're saying is, so this was good, right? We're
mhm,
just saying this is true.
mhm,
This is true. You know,
mhm,
it's happened. And so I think that believing in your life is really during Elul hard, right? Because we're looking as we do cheshbon nefesh, as we're doing this accounting of who we are, we're looking at the stuff that's not as we would love it to be, right? But we're not doing it to beat up on ourselves or to have shame or to
Right.
get stuck in it. We're doing it so we can say, okay, this is true.
Hmm.
Amen. And the next moment is coming, and who knows what might be possible.
Is there any distinction that you would make between this amen, this kind of emunah, faith, and um, awareness, da'at, that is, or could you use them interchangeably? That faith and awareness are the same. It
I
sounds like
think
you're coming close to that here.
I think there's an extra step,
Hmm.
right? And the step sometimes in our practice world is called acceptance, right? But I don't think it's really acceptance. I really follow our teacher, um, Rabbi Sheila Peltz Weinberg. You don't have to like accept it or like it or love it. You just
Hmm.
include it. You
Right.
just notice that it's true, right?
Right.
Affirming in that sense is not affirming I love it. It's just affirming that pain really is there. I'd
Hmm.
rather it not be during my sit, but it is there. And I'm just going to explore it with curiosity,
Yeah.
right? Or that time that I lost my temper, and acted in a way that is totally not in alignment with my values. I'd rather that not happen. But I'm not going to either, you know, surrender to it in the way of saying, that's who I am, that's what I always do, I'll never change, right? Nor am
Hmm.
I going to say it didn't happen, that's not me.
Hmm.
I'm going to say, oh, that is what I did.
Hmm.
What do I need to know about that? Amen.
Yeah. I think that's a really important, Dorothy, I just want to like underline that, that acceptance, but you said about acceptance and quoting Sheila there. I think it's also the difference between resignation, right? It's about the judgment that, oh, this must be good or there must be a reason for it, whatever. And there's a question from Laura about like navigating loss. And we're really lifting up that this is allowing the truth of something to really be present, whether we like it or not. It's the truth. And it strikes me that it really gives a whole and powerful frame for saying Kaddish, which has a zillion amens in it. It's just like a refrain of amen, 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 amen. And everyone says amen, and it's be'imru amen, be'imru amen, be'imru amen. And it's so difficult for us in most cases to allow death to penetrate and our mortality to penetrate the mortality of our loved ones and of loss to really be able to make peace with that. So this is, I think, a very powerful and helpful um, piece of Torah that you're offering for navigating loss.
Well, I think, people are probably here today or came here today because you can't really say Kaddish
Hmm.
alone. And
Hmm.
we need each other's amens. And one
Hmm.
definition of amen that I didn't include before, I think this is Rashi, but I'm not positive, but it's kiyum v'chizuk dvarim she'adam shomea mipi chavero al yedei aniyat amen. Through hearing someone else's amen to you, you have sustaining and strengthening, right? Kiyum v'chizuk. And I think that's my experience of Kaddish.
Hmm.
It's just that I'm standing up and people know I'm in mourning, right?
Hmm.
In the moment, I'm not in mourning, but when I've said Kaddish,
Hmm.
people are witness and affirming me. They're saying amen.
Right.
And when I'm doing that for someone else, I'm doing that. And I love this, kiyum v'chizuk, right? We are sustaining and
Strength.
strengthening
Right.
each other to actually feel the truth of our loss and our grief.
Hmm.
Because most of us know what it feels like to try not to feel it,
Right.
right? To push it away, to deny it. But we help each other to actually be in the truth of it.
Yeah. All right. We're at time, so let's wrap. I just want to thank you, as always, Dorothy. This was really hit home for me and I'm sure for many people here today. And I can say amen to your beautiful teaching and much gratitude to you. And hope everything goes well with the retreat on Sunday. Maybe we can share the link once again for people who are interested in joining Dorothy and Norman Fisher by Zoom on Sunday at Makor Or. And we hope to see everyone back tomorrow to practice with John Silver. Everyone, thanks, Rachel. And thanks to each and every one of you for being here today to create this beautiful opportunity for us to say amen together. Be well.
Thank you. Refuah Shlema.
Thank you.